best manufacturer for secondhand clubs. So for me, the first thing that goes to, just because I'm a tight northerner, is kind of what holds the value the longest, which probably ping irons. They kind of hold their value the longest, as well as Mizuno. I'd probably say those are the two that I'd go for.
Yeah, I feel like TaylorMade, unfortunately, with their irons that they bring out, they can date. Along with Callaway, you know, unless they're really classic like Apex irons, like a M2 dates really quickly, and let's say a Callaway Great Big Bertha, like the more modern stuff, dates really quickly, like Epic irons, let's say. I'd probably agree. Ping, Titleist are very, you know, you could have a set of AP2s, 710s, and they're just AP2s, aren't they? Like, it almost doesn't matter that there were 710s.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just personally, I think second-hand irons that don't retain the value that well are Callaway and TaylorMade, in my opinion. Irons that do retain value is Titleist, Ping, and Mizuno, like you mentioned.
Yeah, I think those are the places
what's the actual question? Where do we get? What was the question again?
The best manufacturer for second-hand clubs. So I think if you go by value, but having said that, what Rick just said is absolutely right about kind of TaylorMade, Callaway. Those two are probably the best example of this because they produce the most and release the most clubs. But having said that, if you do look at like an M1 or an M2 or a Rogue driver, for example, and have a look back at how cheap they're going for, contrast to how good they actually are, like you could find a lot of value there, a lot of value in those type of areas.
The other thing with Ping, if you got a set of clubs, you can actually get custom fit from them and then take them back to Gainsborough, and they can actually adjust the angle and stuff for you and paint the colour and everything else.
I think is it 2 colour codes that they can do? I think they can change either way 2 colour codes, I think.
Well, yeah, so that's kind of worth exploring anyway. Sorry, yeah, we went off a bit of a tangent there.
Woburn.
I think that's got to be our best match so far, surely.
It was unfreaking believable, and I would have said it's unbelievable even if you'd have won or we would have halved it. I'd have still said that was the most unbelievable match. Like the way we kind of played, I got off to a bit of a nervy start, but held on. The 2-3 woods we hit into the 4th hole, the par 5, were just freaking ridiculous.
Yeah.
I was 1 up going through 9, or all square going through 9. You kind of was fighting back as much as you could, and I just managed to somehow just freaking keep you at bay. And then that last hole, the issue with that year for you, your irons were just so far off the mark for distance.
It was both. It was the driver and the irons. They were going straight, but they just weren't going anywhere. And then you managed to, I'm not going to say look out because, you know, you obviously put your research in, but that bloody Titleist driver that you got, it was just unbelievably good for you.
So there's not a single set of golf bidder clubs. Typically when we use the golf bidder clubs, we give them back after we film with them. I have every single golf club from that last year.
In a frame.
in a glass frigging cabinet, and to the point where I actually played in the YouTube Golf Day last year with that same Titleist driver. Why not, eh? Why not? Retro. Yeah, the driver was epic. Irons were good, and then that last hole where you went left, and I thought, I've got you. I can't remember who teed off first. Did you tee off first?
No, you would have teed off first because you'd won the previous hole or half the previous hole. I can't remember, but I went left. Anyway, you went right.
And then you played an unfrigging believable 7-iron chip and run through the trees to literally that.
I know.
If you're listening to this, a 6-inch shot, it was a certain gimme. I was on the right dead. I had to get up and down to halve the hole to win the match by 1 up. And I'll be honest with you, at that point, I'm not a particularly religious person. I don't have faith in that much. At that point, Peter, somebody was looking out for me. The golfing gods gave me a window of opportunity and a full 60-degree lob wedge, and I hit it with my eyes shut and prayed and hoped and thought, please be good. And it was I remember saying, please be the number. Be the number. And it was the frigging number, Peter Finch.
It was just that. It was like a perfect. It was like those last 2 holes was like a perfect finish with the drama. I just can't put that bloody shot.